very much for coming tonight to my seminar. I really do appreciate you coming out. A little bit cooler, windy night here. I am Scott Olson, and this is my 5th or 6th year now doing these ice seminars here at the campus. I really enjoy helping people out, giving a little bit of education, learning a little bit along the way too, because it's important. As much as you might know, you can always know and learn a little more. So I'm hoping I learn as much from you guys as hopefully will learn from me. So today we are going to be discussing a pretty gear-centric seminar. So because there's so much stuff out there these days, you might be asking yourself like, well, why is this suit more than this suit? What does this suit have this one doesn't have? Or what does this Vex have this one doesn't have? Or what's the difference between all these forward-facing sonars that are in the market now? So it's kind of a
Scott, you got a mic?
No, I don't.
Okay, you might want to stand behind your table. We cannot hear you over there. Thank you.
Thank you. She keeps me on the straight over here. So. So anyway, we're gonna do first. Like I said, what was once a simple sport has just simply exploded over the last several years or so with just the gear. It's been a long ways in the last 20 years, or even the last 5 to 10 if you've been kind of keep an eye on how things are within the ice market. So it's no longer just a stereotypical guy sitting on a bucket, freezing your tail off. There's a lot of different gear out there now. There's dozens of suits and shelters, hundreds of reels and rods, and then thousands of lures and plastics these days. So, it's such a big market for it now. So with all this selection, even those who might have a little more experience, you're still thinking, what is the difference with all this stuff? If you're picking it out in the retail stores. So we're going to discuss some of the differences and just kind of clarify things a little bit. I won't get too technical on the stuff, just because we could be here for 5-6 hours then, and people might start falling. So a little different with this seminar. Instead of we're going to go into each slide and do about a different item, and then at the end of the slide, we'll take some questions on that particular theme, and then we'll move on to the next one. Kind of do that until we get to the end. And then we'll just open it up to the usual Q&A, whatever kind of questions you might have at the end there. So first thing first, we're going to go with your shelters. So you got your hubs. This is one of the new hubs that came out this year from Clam. It's the new full door with the Aurora light system within it. The seminar will be heavy on Clam and Vex and some of the different companies that I pro staff with. But if you have any questions about some of the other brands, Striker, Strike Master, Eskimo Otter, what have you, I do have a little bit of general knowledge about their stuff as well. I'm not going to badmouth any other brand. As long as you're out having a good time, it don't matter whose name is on whose brand is on your suit. So you got your smaller hubs, you got your bigger hubs. The biggest difference from is going to be your size. So like this 400 size is roughly 400. There's roughly 400 square meters to fish out of. You go up to your higher size like the 600, the 800, the 1200 even this year. You just get bigger in size. The denier or the amount of insulation can vary from shelter to shelter. Like the C series of Clam has about 600 denier, so it's a pretty decent amount of insulation. Keeps you warm. Good. It's a little lighter as far as being able to just carry it off the ice and out. Versus like the X series, like that 400, where it's 900 denier, so it's heavier insulation, a little bit heavier as far as pounds go to pull it out. But if you're ice camping or going to be spending a lot of time out in windier weather or more extreme weather, then like the X series is a little bit better off in that kind of weather than say the C series. And there's your weight, and of course your accessories. Accessories are becoming more of a common thing now on hubs. It's kind of started with the Clam Lock series that came out a few years back. There's that hub there has got about three different kinds of different accessories in there. Just kind of helps keep be a little more efficient, keeps you more organized, or fish a little bit better in there. Like that rattle wheel is kind of a cool little feature for the Clam Lock series. But Rapalla's got their own lock series now. Eskimo's got their own hub series now. So it's just a way to keep those just be a little more organized, a little more efficient as far as what you can do with those hubs. Of course, your fish traps, your flip over sleds. You've got your size, you've got your 1-man, there's your 2-mans, you can go all up to a 3-man that I've seen, like the X300 series with clam. There's some bigger Eskimo and Auger ones as well that can handle almost 3 people. Same thing there, your denier. Usually the higher end you go, the more insulation you get. It also means the heavier you're going to get with it. And then of course your seat style. Some are just going to have a bench seat, some are going to have more of that boat seat, some are just going to have the flip up and down seats. So it's kind of whatever you think, whatever you sit on that feels most comfortable to your butt, pretty much, kind of determine what you want there as far as the seat style you prefer. And of course the weight. The bigger sled, more material, more weight. Little 1-mans, we can weigh anywhere from 45 to 70 pounds, depending on the insulation and your biggest differences. So like I said, just some general differences between the shelters. Suits. So while there are a lot of suits in the market, they all share some pretty general features. I mean, unless you're going to get into the nitty-gritty details, there's not like a whole lot of difference between suits. They're pretty much all, they're all waterproof, they're all windproof. Pretty much they all are float these days. Floats become pretty much standard across the industry, regardless of which brand you are. And I think Clam makes the Edge suit. That's the only non-float suit that's on the market right now. Otherwise, everything else is float. Just the details is where the differences are. It could be anything from the amount of insulation, your lower end suits versus your higher end. There's going to be more insulation as you go further up in price. The outer shell thickness can differ a little bit. Pocket locations. Some people might prefer a pocket in a different location than where they are. With the different suits that are, the different ice armor suits that are in the Clam lineup. There's some that have pockets here, and you're always going to have the ones here, but it could be here, it could be on the side. Just kind of depends on where you prefer to have your pockets at. And accessories lanyards, like the Ascent suit's got a nice little lanyard accessory that pulls in and out, whereas the other suits have all got mostly like D-rings, so you can hang your stuff from there. But that lanyard is kind of nice, just to be able to pull like a toothpick out, or tweezers, just for quick access. And removable liners. Some suits can, if you remove the liner, just have the outer shell on those warmer days. The Ascent suit again has a liner that's removable. That's what I wore for about six seasons was the Ascent, and I only needed that liner on like below 0 days because the suit itself was still pretty warm without that insulation. But if you get cold easier, it's kind of nice to have that extra insulating layer on the suit. I'm sorry. And so, questions on shelters or suits before I get here? Anything in general? Yes.
Where would you sit on?
Well, I don't sit a whole lot. I kind of go around and kneel for the most part by my holes. I don't stick around the tubs very much, but most of the time I have some chairs, some little fold-up chairs or tripod chairs that I'll throw in there for whoever's out with me, just so they can go in there and sit. Got some little camping chairs work out really well too because they pack up small, so you throw them in there if you need to, or just a bucket, just a bucket to sit on. Anything else on shelters and suits? Okay. Flashers. So you got your Vexilar, Markham, your Humminbird, Garmin, Lowrance. Those are pretty much your standard names across pretty much the entire sonar / flasher market in fishing or ice fishing. Of course, you got your flashers versus sonar versus your forward-facing sonar units like this active target. Does anybody have any what's the difference between the price? You go from about $250 all the way up to about $3,000. So you got the full range of pricing, but if anybody has ever used one of these systems or is interested about them, we can definitely take some questions on it. I don't have one personally. This is actually my dad's, but I have had access. I've seen it used, and I've been around some live scopes as well when they've been using. The technology is pretty dang cool to be able to put your transistor down and just scan in any direction, see where fish are at, see where structure's at, and then walk over that spot and drill your hole straight, and then fish right there where they're at. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool technology. You've got your entry level versus your advanced models. You've got your FL8 here. It's kind of your entry model for the Vex. The FLX12 is kind of the next model. Then you got your 18 where you get into the zoom, 20 where you get in, from the 20 on up, it's all the FLX models. So you got that brushless data transfer technology, easy to read in sunlight. You got your multiple zoom zones. You know, so it kind of depends on, you know, but if you're one who's fishing within 20 feet of water most of the time, you're looking at, you know, getting into the flasher or sonar market, you know, the 8 will do you just fine. It's still the most popular selling flasher in the ice belt right now because the majority of people ice fish are fishing with 20 feet of water, and this thing will work just fine unless you want to get into more advanced features like in the 20, 28, and the 30. So it kind of depends, like I said, what your fishing style is, you know, and when do you fish? You know, are you the mobile versus stationary ice fisherman? Are you the shallow versus deep water? Are you the avid ice angler or just the weekend warrior? You know, this kind of depends on what investment you might want to make, depending on when and how you fish. You know, it's a lot of this is determined by how you fish and when you fish. Kind of how you determine who would be able to get what you're looking for in the gear. This is some of the different XR models, and they're pretty much all up here now, I think, with the 8 through the 30. So if you have questions about any of those, or any other flasher or sonar units, yes?
Do you have any tricks to checking water depth without drilling holes?
On really clear ice, you can put a transducer down on the ice with a little bit of water underneath it, and it gives you a fairly accurate reading. But the ice has to be pretty, almost glass clear for it to work well. Which, like right now, a lot of the lakes have got pretty clear ice because they froze pretty quick and hard. Like down at Stockade this morning, that ice was fairly clear. I was actually getting some, when I was pulling my transducer out when I was reeling in some fish, and if the tube was facing down, I was getting the readings through the ice. So if you got that, or there's also I think Bex made it called a depth therm. It's a little handheld device. You just put a little water on the ice tube and you put it down, and it gives you a reading as long as the ice is clear. It's pretty good. It's 6 inches right now on the west side. I haven't been to the north or east side yet, but the west side this morning was about 6 inches.
Last weekend, Scotty was about 4
on the north side. Okay. With cold weather coming from today on, we should add on some inches on the Stockade and most of the others too, which will be nice. So, any other flasher questions? Augers. So the industry has definitely moved away from your gas and propane augers, you know, for pretty obvious reasons. You know, the electric auger and the synthetic auger blades, you know, they rule the day because they are light. The batteries lithium batteries these days are super efficient, and you know, and weight is just always a key thing. Like my old Jiffy gas weighed 34 pounds, and you know, I switched to the cage rail and the plate setup about 7 years ago. This thing only weighs 12 pounds. It does have to be brushless and at least 18 volts. So you know, the 9, like I use the 900 series, the volts on mine. It's got enough torque and power where it drills pretty efficient. But I've seen guys who use this like 700 series models. You won't get as many holes with it because it doesn't have quite the power that the higher up one have, but you can still drill through. You get some holes out of it regardless with that. Just nice to have the weight, have the weight savings. But you know, since the cage rail came out and the original electric ion, if anybody remembers that when it first came out, you know, 7 or 8 years ago now, I think. It's just that's kind of where the industry is going. You know, synthetic blades. They're, you know, whether it's the cage rail, whether it's the strike light, whether it's the pistol bit, they're all pretty much made the same. They're all lightweight. They're within ounces of each other as far as the weight. And your biggest difference really is going to be in the cutting speed. Like for instance, the cage rail was designed it's got ripper style blades on it. It was designed to really open old holes fast. Whereas like your strike light, your pistol bit, they've got a different kind of cutting blade on them. They're going to cut faster. Unless you're in a race, you know, the difference between the three different brands is pretty minimal. You know, the electric augers, like the rig ones, like the Strike Master 40 volt, the 24 volt, the ions, the new Eskimo electric one that came out. They are, you know, they're very high. They're all these at least 40 volt. They all are very efficient. They all last a long time. You drill many dozens of holes through thick ice with them pretty easily before you have to change out a battery. And it's just, you know, when picking one, if you're looking at in the market for an auger, you know, it's what kind of fishing you're doing and when you're doing it. Because, you know, in gas and propane still have their place. I mean, like up on Deerfield, you know, when the ice is 3 feet thick by, you know, first part of February, you know, sometimes it might be kind of nice to have, you know, because you're going to burn through batteries for a little bit faster than that, unless you upgrade your batteries on these. I've got a big 9-volt flex bulb that I put on mine, and that'll get me roughly 25 to 30 holes up at Deerfield for 3 feet of ice. You know, whereas like the bigger, like 40-volt systems probably get you a lot more than that. But you know, are you going to be super mobile or are you going to be stationary? You know, you're searching out new locations or opening old holes. Kind of depends on what you want to look at as far as your particular fishing style and which brand you want to use. Any questions about the augers?
I had a question back on flashers.
Yeah.
Maintenance, or do you just run them until they break and you send them in for repair? Am I
Well,
missing something that I haven't been doing?
I have never had to send in any of the Vexes that I know. I've had the 18 for almost 10 years now. I've never had a problem with it. I got the 28 about 6 years ago. I've never had a problem with it. And then I just got a couple of these other ones in there. They're a little bit newer, but I've had no problem with them yet. So, but yeah, if there are any issues, if you pretty much talk to Vex's customer service, and they will just tell you to pretty much just send. Most of the time, it'll be an issue with like the motor itself. Send the head in, they'll get it fixed up and get it back to you. So you'll probably just pay for shipping to get it to them, then they'll send it back to you free of charge. Yeah, they've always been, but they say I've never had a problem, but I am on the pro staff and I do chat with the customer service for people if they need it, and they've always been very responsive and they definitely want to get their issue, any issue with the topic fixed. Well, go to rods and reels next. So, you know, walking down the aisles at, you know, Shields, Cabela's, the Rooster, you know, there's just so many different kinds of rods out there, so many kinds of reels out there. You know, you kind of look at what species are you going to be going after. It's one of those things I like to use to kind of determine what fish I'm going to go for. It'll help eliminate a lot of the choices. You know, you're not going to be going after, you know, bluegills. You know, bluegills, crappie with a bigger, medium heavy action rod. You won't feel any bite on this at all, and you'll end up probably just pulling the lure through the fish's mouth anyway. Right? Just like you're not going to go after walleye, lake trout with an ultralight spring bite. So if you like to fish with panfish, you know, look for those ultralights, those lights, medium light. If you're going for the bigger fish, you know, medium heavy is about your fish. We're going for lake trout. But you know, if you're looking for that all around power, a medium light in the hills here will pretty much, you know, get you with most species up to about lake trout. And I've caught, you know, lake trout accidentally at Deerfield on ultralight rods. Just no matter how you play the fish. You know, and then look at the rods. You know, some of them have spring bobbers. Some of them don't have anything at all. Some of them have the noodle tip rods. You know, so and some of them are made out of carbon fiber or fiberglass. So you know, do you want to see the bite or do you want to feel the bite? You know, today down at Stockade, we needed to see the bite because they were biting so light. So I was using spring bobber. My spring bobber rods pretty regularly because it was a lot easier to see those down bites, and a few times they came with an up bite. You know, I tried using a noodle tip, but it wasn't sensitive enough to see those little bites. You know, but some other rods where like this is one of the new Pro Series Redline rods. This thing is all carbon fiber, so it's extremely sensitive. You feel little nicks and hits from a fish on it. But maybe you might prefer to see the bite rather than feel the bite. Or vice versa. So it kind of depends on your particular fishing style. For spinning reels, you're going to look at the smoothness of the drag, and as well as both the reel itself too. You know, just real nice and smooth, or is it pretty herky jerky? You pull the line out, it sound good, or is it go? You know, for inlines, I use a lot of inlines for pan fishing, and there's plastic ones, and there's a lot of ones that are synthetic now or carbon, which kind of makes a lot of difference in the price. But it also determines the quality of the reel too. A $20 inline versus a $56 inline is a huge difference in how they feel. And of course, the price is always a factor. It all depends on what you want to invest in the reel. I guess if you want to get a little bit lesser one, looking at the two, if it's a rod or reel that you want to spend a little money on, I would say the rod's probably more important than the reel, because that's kind of your main connection with the fish and how you're going to fight with the fish. You can loosen the drag or tighten the drag a little bit more than the reel for the most part without too many problems. Any questions on rods or reels? Yeah.
So if you're, because Sheridan's usually one of those lakes that they have the soft bites.
What's that?
Right. Sheridan's usually a lake for me where they have soft bites. I can mark the fish. I'll bring it up. They'll chase me up and down, 2 feet up, 2 feet down. But I can never get them to. I don't know if I've got me in the bite or they are biting. I'm not seeing it. What would you tell me if I get a fish?
If you can
that's
solve that
chasing?
problem on Sheridan, please let me know. During the Sheridan tournament, it seems like mid-January on, if you push on the perch on Sheridan, that is a very common thing. I've spent 5-10 minutes on one fish, just getting up and down, up and down, up and down, and then it's swim lanes.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean, and in those cases, I typically am fishing with very light line, usually do a 2-pound test. I've got a spring bobber on and probably about a 3 millimeter size jig, usually a vertical presentation instead of the horizontal, because for those really finicky bites, I prefer the vertical jig to the horizontal. But even then, I mean, I've downsized as much as I possibly can and put little bits of maggots or little bits of waxies, and they still will not take it. So that's just the nature of Sheridan in January, pretty much. And right now, the lake's still wide open now, I think, except for like a 3 to 5 barrier. It might have some ice in it. If there's wind, I don't know. Yeah, the perch bite on Sheridan in January is always so tough. Not really much you can. I haven't figured out how to get other finicky perch to bite that time of year. Other than just being really frustrated and cursing at them a lot, and just keep trying.
So, can you walk us through the difference between stringing up a spinning reel and an inline?
Now, inlines are kind of a little bit of a pain in the butt to ice, especially if you're a little bit of pain to get there. I usually take a piece of tape with them, and I will tape it onto the actual reel itself. And then if I have a little help, I'll let one person reel and I'll just move it back and forth by hand, just to get so that the line lays nice and even. Or if it was just me, then I'll do that. I'll do the tape thing as well still, and then I'll just do a little bit of reeling, and I'll move it over a little bit. And I'll just try and move it back and forth while I'm reeling, while it's between my knees. It's not the easiest thing to do, but I haven't really figured out an easy way to really straighten those up. Whereas for spinning reels, what I do is I'll take the spool and I'll put it in a bowl of warm water, and I'll run the end through the guys, tie it up, and I'll just start reeling. The warm water helps take away some of the memory from the that's in the line, so it'll last you a lot longer during the season. And the water provides just enough tension where your line is going to be evenly placed across the entire spool. A little trick I learned from my clam video about 4 years ago. Easy way to spool up a lot of reels by yourself too. If you really mean to have a lot of reels to spool up.
On the rods, I got the medium, heavy, all that. So legs, like legs going 28, 30, or 33. I get it when you're in Winnipeg with great big. But like what's the real difference that you're catching off in 2 inches?
Well, a longer rod gives you a little bit more control over the runs, over the head shakes. And longer rods kind of went away for a little bit, but now they're starting to come back in style again. So now people are looking at 32, 36, even further up than that. The new lake rod I've got now right now, this is a 38 medium rod here. This is going to be, because for those bigger head shakes on the Lakers, it'll be nice to have a little more control over them versus with a shorter rod. Or you go up to this one that I got for a birthday present from my dad here a while back. This one's 42. It's a 42-inch one. It's a very long rod, but it works really well, especially if you're going to stand up and fish. It's a lot easier to use a longer rod if you're going to stand and fish versus being on your knees. Then you're going to want a shorter rod with being closer. So like when I go for Lakers, I usually have a shorter one. I have like a 32-inch medium heavy rod that I use if I'm going to be more on my knees. But if I'm standing up, I'll switch to a little longer one like this one. This year I can stand up now and really get a good, you know, big spoon.
Get you off the hole a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Get you off the knees a little bit. And plus, a lot of those guys are Christian. You know, they'll you know, with a spoon there, they're going to be like big, you know, big old motions. They'll get big spoons to really flash and flutter. I know some guys who will pull the line out like this to bring it about 3 feet, and then they'll do this too, so they're bringing up like almost 10 feet off the bottom. You just let it all go on. The lure just, you know, flops everywhere about that 10 feet. My current favorite rod is the Katana. The three of them here. This is the 27 Katana Light with the spring bobber. Probably my favorite one in the lineup is the 30-inch noodle rod. I got like a 4-pound test on here. I'm usually going for panfish and then trout for this big one. So I'm kind of a seed bite person. I like those seed bites. I'm really big on noodle rods, and then for panfish I like, you know, spring bobbers. But you know, nice thing about noodle rod is you got a lot of backbone. You see the bite, but with the noodle rods, you do have to baby the tips a little bit because these will break if you don't handle it, if you don't treat them nicely in storage. And if you're really cranking on a fish like this, that tip is like that, you're gonna break the tip. So you gotta kind of handle it with your kid gloves sometimes because tips don't break. We have the Katana series, and then this is a medium Katana rod here too. So they're very light. They're mostly carbon fiber, so they're very sensitive as well. So good for all range of species. Okay, move on to this one. Accessories. So you don't think about the accessories as much compared to compared to the bigger gear. But they can help make your days on the ice more comfortable, more efficient. Because you don't think about certain things like you've got your heaters, you've got your fishing tools, you've got your toothpicks, your boot spikes, your lure and rod cases. These little jig cases really are good job at keeping jigs organized. I've got some of the clam spoon ones that are in that foam just when each individual keeps them from getting tangled up. You've got portable power units. Like I've got a power box that my laptop's running off right now. Just keep devices powered up. Or to run a tablet in case the kids are watching TV. Sleds, waterproof gloves and boots, very important, but they aren't considered an accessory. Or even just a really comfy, seat for your bucket if you just want to be really light and just move that around. There's lots of bucket seats out there now that you've got cushioned seats or they swivel. So I can see some before they had armrests. If you really want to sit back and just sit here and pass out and fall asleep while you're fishing. But those little things can really make you more efficient or just more comfortable while you're out there. So what you kind of need to be determined, of course, by how you're going to fish. So you're running, gunning, or just hubbing it with friends and family. Some items can be a necessity, like the toothpicks. I hope everybody grab a toothpick out of there because it goes on the left. That's a tool I wear, open water, ice fishing pretty much any time I go out, because it's a very handy little tool to get hooks at fish without killing fish and losing your jigs. Yeah. Waterproof boots, also. I've dropped my boots a couple times out on the ice. It's hard drilling a hole like this and trying to get your shoes wet. And then just other things that just make things easier for you while you're out there. So just some different examples here. You got your standard, you got your heater. You've got some sunglasses. Sunglasses are a very nice thing to have, especially when the ice and the sun is shining really bright. Because otherwise you get that nice headache from squinting so much when the ice. Rod storage, jig storage, spoon storage, all things that can help you keep your gear from getting tangled or chipped or broken. And even stuff like hub accessories, this little table, just to throw on a tool or a drink. Like I got one in that. There was one in that one there. Just something nice, just keep your gear off or even your stuff off the ice. Any questions about the accessories?
I'm a question about the whole feet of the boots.
I wear the Sub-Zero boots that Clam makes. They're kind of a muck style, so they're 100% waterproof. And I usually wear a wicking liner, and then I'll wear a merino marine-able sock underneath that. There are those little dollar, boot warmers, boot things, toe warmers you can get, just throw them in there to help out if you're really cold. But there are other brands. I know Norford makes a really good warm boot from what I hear. And I think Muck makes a little bit higher end.
I'll take this one because I don't do cold feet at all. There are insoles that you can buy. They're fairly inexpensive. We buy them at Fleet Farm. I hate cold feet. My feet get very cold. Basically, it's a wool liner with a foil underneath. Those are the best things that I have found. And because I have small feet, I have to wear children's shoes, and they never have any insulation. So those really are going to be your best bet when you're going out there. They're comfortable, and they're going to keep your feet warm. What are they called? I don't know what they're called, but they are. You can find them many places.
They're in the socks section, I believe, aren't they? That's where we
Yeah, I'll Google it though. Yeah.
I was just talking about, she wore those last year. They did put feet a lot warmer. And just her kid size, size 3s that she wears. All right, so lures. Well, how many walk down that aisle and the different stores, and you're just like, wow, there is so much to pick from. So of course, the easiest way to pick is just to just look at what species you're going to be going after. I mean, it's one of those basic questions, pretty much any of the skiers, what are you fishing for? How you fish? When you fish? You don't have, if you're not going to be the weekend person, you don't need the expensive stuff. You don't need all the gadgets. Or if you're the fair weather fisher, go out when it's nice out. Whether or not they need a lot of the insulated stuff. As far as lures, well, look at the colors and the sizes that you're really going after. A good standard to look at is gold, around here anyway in the hills, gold, chartreuse, and pink. Pretty much those 3 colors, you pretty much catch most of the fish in the area without, on most days, within my experience. So your panty jigs, look at the 3mm or 4mm size, which is basically a 64th ounce to a 32nd ounce. So different brands have different measurements. Some go by the millimeter, some go by the ounce. Spoons, anywhere from a 32nd to a 16th ounce. Most spoons are usually in the ounce that I've seen. For your trout jigs, looking at about 5mm size, about the 16th ounce size. You can go a little heavier, but I've seen guys go up to about an 1/8 ounce, depending on the size of the jig. And spoons, look at the 16th to the 1/8 ounce. Maybe even bigger. If you go to Pactola doesn't really have small trout. You can upsize up there and really get a good flash with spoons trying to call them in. The walleye, typically the ones I have are all pretty much 1/4 ounce or bigger, 1/4 ounce, 3 ounce. Just because you're going after predator fish, you need something that's going to be a little bit bigger, a little heavier, something that's going to flash, make noise, glow if you're fishing in low light. My go-tos for panties, I'm a big fan of the clam dropkick jig in the 32nd ounce red. The pink Widowmaker Lucky Lady jig, I bought that last year. It's been a phenomenal bluegill jig since I started using it. And of course, the Pinhead Pro. It's a very good panfish spoon. It's just a picture of that red dropkick. Also, Dave Gens's favorite. Trout, the 32nd ounce Wonder Bread or gold panfish leech flutter spoons. They've got some on one of my rods here, but they're about that big. But they flutter all the way down nice and slow. They really have a lot of motion, a lot of flash. And of course, trout being such a visual fish, they can see that from a long ways away. And then of course you got your pinheads, the 16 ounce Pinhead Pro, and the 16 ounce pink dotted clam dropkick or seller. So, your questions? Sure.
Yeah, question. For your picture there, you got a clip on it with a little bitty clips. That's something you do, or you always tie it?
That actually comes with the Pinhead Pros. The swivel. The swivel comes with them all. As well as the new Tika flashes and the Tika minnows, I believe, also come with that swivel. It just saves you from having, because that's what they should be tied on with, so that's how they get their motion. rather than a direct line tie. Because the swivel allows them to, do this motion easier than if it's a direct line tie.
How many of your lures have rattles or make electronic noise?
I don't have anything that make electronic noise. I did get it's a company called Fish Daddy. It has a little light operated one where you drop it in the hole and then the light starts blinking. I did try it last year a little bit on up near Sheep Hill. It was kind of slow day and catch it on it. So I'm gonna try it again this year. And as far as rattles, I've got some of the blade spoons that got rattles in them, but otherwise pretty much all my lures are just strictly flash. Because it seems to work better on panfish and the trout that I go after. Rattles more for, I guess, for your lake trout, walleyes, pike might be drawn to noise as well. But noise seems to scare away the other, at least in my experience. So, conclusions here. So in my opinion, with all this gear, all this technology, we are pretty much in a golden age for ice fishing. There's not only is it the fastest growing outdoor sport in the country right now, but it's also it's also the fastest growing gear-wise in the industry because of all the new technology, all the new lures, all the new accessories, all the new everything gets us out on the ice, gets us comfortable, gets us more efficient, and hopefully helps us catch more fish. There's a multitude of choices out there, as you know, if you've been through the stores. So even if you're just getting into it, getting back into it, the differences can be kind of hard to pick out if you're a little overwhelmed. But like I said, just ask those questions. Just know what you're going to fish for, how you're going to fish, and when you're going to fish, and you kind of help you sift through a lot of what's out in the market right now. You're the pan fisherman, the trout fisherman, the walleye fisherman, and kind of am I on the weekends only? Am I going to go out whenever I possibly can? And that can kind of help you with your choices down. But don't let the choice, don't let what's available keep you from going outside, having a good time, hopefully catch some fish. But as long as you're outside, get some fresh air, enjoying the outdoors, that really is probably one of the best things about being on the ice. Even the fact that you can get around a lot more if you don't have a boat like I do. Any place on the lake is accessible on the ice. You don't have a boat like I do. All right, so I just wanted to say a special thanks here before we get into the Q&A and kind of get into all the fun prizes. So we got some of the special donors here. Clam got a whole bunch of their new lures and running some Bravo combos back here. Cold Snap gave me all those pickups. A couple new ones this year. We had Fishing Assault. They're a plastics company out of Michigan, I believe. And they donated a whole bunch of plastics this year. I started using them last year. They're buying at the Ice Institute. Very good plastics to use. Nathan Boldman, he runs Nasty Nate's Baits. He donated a couple boxes last year, and I started using a little bit this year too. And these are very, very good panfish baits, and even some bigger ones in here. We got a panfish setup and a trout setup here. But those two guys, they are not available anywhere in this area. So I was very happy to get these guys to donate to us to the seminar. Because like I said, pretty much Ohio is where Nate's out of, Michigan. So we don't get these baits around here. So whoever can get these baits, you can get some kind of cool, something very unique in this area. A lot of times, what is unique works well. Some of the fish haven't seen it. Yes. We've got relevant also. The sunglasses company that I run with. They're committing tech that they have in their glasses. It's basically transition lenses, but it helps cut out the different colors in the environment. Helps you really see through colors, see through water. They're very good. They donated a certificate for a $250 pair of glasses, custom glasses. Right here. So I was very happy with them to donate a pair for this. Shields donated a gift card. I've got some rod combos here from Fleet Farm. Cabela's donated a couple of tackle bags. Amp donated 3 batteries to this. So I've got three batteries up here. Anthony couldn't make it tonight, but otherwise had some of his plastics here for Titan lures. Aaron helped me with RBM jigs donate a very large set of the Lake Effect jigs, plastics, spoons, as well as one other panty popper rods here. This is a very nice bunch of a lot of gear here. that lake effect donated. Let's see what else. Oh, and of course, Kevin couldn't make it tonight because of the wind and the weather over there near Sturgis. He donated another guided trip as well. He would prefer open water, he said, because the last few years up on the ice have been pretty tough. Has a hard time finding fish to get on, even for the guys who have won this in the past. So whoever wins that one, I'll get your information to him, and you guys can work out if you want to try an ice trip or if you want to wait for a boat trip. And then of course Vexlar donated the underwater camera, as well and the FLX 12 here, which are the big kid prizes tonight. So if any lucky kids out there, might have a chance to win those. So yeah, if you get a chance, if you win some of this stuff or get some of these things here for asking questions, be sure to let them know, say thank you for the donations, because we really want to thank, because without them and their support, it'd be tougher to get a hold of these kind of nice donations for the seminar. And I always try to help them out, make sure people try to win some of this stuff. So, if you need more after the Q&A session though, you can get a hold of me at my email site there, drauger81@hotmail.com. I do have a Facebook page, Dr. Auger Ice Fishing LLC, as well, or my website there. You can also have this information all on there too. And it has some business cards over there as well. I do this for free. This is an educational thing that I like to do. I don't charge anything. If anyone wants to go out on the ice with me, or lend some gear if you need it. I just really want everybody to get out, have a good time, and hopefully catch some fish what they learned today, or at the very least, tell me if it didn't work, so I can change next year's up a little bit. But yeah, it's something I enjoy doing. I like to meet people, chat with everybody. I wish we could do a 3 or 4 hour seminar and just questions and all this, but I have so much time. But otherwise, that is it for the presentation. So to start with, we'll just do some general. We'll take about 5 minutes. We'll do a quick 5-10 minute session of just some general questions, then we'll do the kids' special thing here. So first question. Anything ice fishing related?
Do you pay attention to your barometric pressure?
Barometric pressure? Oh yes, like a hawk.
What do you use?
I use, I think WeatherBug has it, but Weather Underground is the site that I use. It can kind of show the prediction of where the pressure's going to be. Because it seems like, of course, like today with this high wind and very high pressure, the fish, you'd find them here and there this morning, but boy, they were just tight lipped. You had to really work them pretty hard to get them to life for the most part. So yeah, when it's really low, it tends to be easier to fish. Pretty much with any species, especially with the ice, because if you don't know how the pressure works right now, because of the ice covering, when the pressure is high, it's pushing down the ice layer, which pushes down on the water, which really compresses those. The fish can feel that pressure, and it'll make their swim bladders expand to compensate for the added pressure. So it makes their stomachs get smaller. So they're not going to be as hungry. They're not going to be as aggressive. Versus say when the pressure is going down and the swim bladder shrink, the stomach expands and they're on the challenge. So yeah, low pressure days are awesome. I prefer those, but my days off when I go out regardless of the barometric pressure. I just hope that the forecast is calling for low pressure. Like today when it was windy, with the wind, I knew the pressure was really high, and it showed. We caught my line. We did catch fish, but it did take a lot of playing with it. Well, pink's been working great for me so far, but a natural black worked well on Monday when I was out there, and red's also worked well for me in the past as well. Yeah, exactly.
What temperature would be your regular ice fishing line and monofilament?
Ice line is engineered to not freeze up as bad and stay a lot more supple in the really cold temps versus open water stuff, which might freeze, especially if you're fishing in 40, 30 degree weather. You probably notice the difference, but when it gets down into the 20s, teens, single digits, that's when you're going to notice that the ice line will stay a lot more soft, a lot more supple, and that kind of stuff versus the regular water line.
Who asked that question?
And right in the hat there is sorry. Next hat.
What's the recommended hook and depth for a pike?
Well, pike fishing right now, you're looking pretty shallow, probably less than 10 feet. Usually, I look for weeds, cattails, less than 7. I prefer about 6 to 5 feet of water, and I'll put the bait just below the ice a lot of times because if you put it too low, the pike is going to ignore it. But it's high enough when they can see it, they'll go up to it. So usually within a foot or two of the ice is where I'll set baits.
What bait?
Shiners typically. Sometimes I'll just use bigger fatheads if they're not available. I do occasionally use frozen smelt. I like the smaller ones though. I mean, they're like the Rooster sells the frozen smelt. I had better luck with live bait. But I know there are those people that go after with a hot dog. I've heard people use hot dogs to go after pike here in the hills. So I've never tried it yet. One day I will. And they say the cheaper hot dog, the better. The cheaper ones are a lot greasier. Right there.
Do you bounce anything off the bottom?
If I'm fishing for perch, yeah, I'll pound that bottom, just stir up sediment and get the perch in because it looks like bugs or bloodworms coming out then. That usually will draw and fish pretty easy. I don't do it a lot for panfish because I'm usually fishing off the bottom a little bit about a foot off of the bottom for them most of the time, foot and a half. But if I'm in a sandy bottom, occasionally I will let it drop to the bottom, give it a few pounds, and I'll bring it up. That does occasionally draw in some of the panfish too. Trout, it's a shallower lake like Sunday Gulch, Mitchell. There it's okay. I'll do that occasionally, but for the most part, I'm fishing the middle of the water for them.
If you're too aggressive, they'll off the bottom.
Yeah, it just scare them off. So you want to bring the perch in when you're doing that, and then just kind of slowly move it. You don't want to just keep doing this because you'll bring them in and then you're sticking away too.
Do you fish for cheaper?
No. Fishing by accident sometimes. Come back. Billy. I'm sorry, what? About 10 minutes typically is kind of my average time. Occasionally a little longer, but if I'm catching a few fish at once in a while, we do about 10 minutes. And you live in a lake? Well, in fact, yes, I have. I fell through last year for my very first time. Well, not last year, but this past season for my very first time. So I'll give you a quick little summary here. May 1st, went up to Deerfield with my friend Aaron here. Walked out the lake with my spud bar. Ice was pretty junky, but it was holding. So I walked out a little ways, and okay, it held, so I thought we could fish for a little bit. Walked back, grabbed the K-drill, walked back out. But didn't follow the same path out. Went around it, fell through. In about 7 feet of water, I estimate. Got out like that. Didn't go on get out after that one. And then I kind of stood up and I was like, whoa, that was different. Took 2 steps, fell through again. Was in there about 15 seconds that time because the ice was breaking away. But because I'm wearing a float suit, I was wearing all my safety gear, I just held still, let my legs float up, and then just pulled myself out. And just rolled away, and I walked back to shore, and I was just like, that was different. But the suit actually kept from getting really wet, though, which was kind of a thing I didn't notice about it until that happened. I mean, I was a little damp from here down, but when I fell through, I stopped here. I didn't go any lower than this. So I can tell you firsthand, those float suits are well worth the investment if you don't already have one or if you're looking at them. Because they will.
Before I can get my throw rope out.
Yeah, so he didn't have a chance. I got out so fast both times, didn't have a chance to even really get out there because I watched those videos at the beginning of every season that shows you if you ever get into trouble like that, how to get out. And I do that all the time at the beginning of the year, so I didn't think about it. I just stopped kicking, let my feet float up, and then just kind of rolled out. So yes, it has happened. That's the only time it's happened. But I always told that's why I have a float suit, just in case it ever happens. And I was with a buddy. And let's go. The Rooster has shiners right now, and last time I checked, Shields had it. And that was about 4 or 5 days ago. But I did get some shiners yesterday at the Rooster, and they just got a fresh batch.
We got a couple over here.
Yep. What's that? I haven't noticed that the moon phase doesn't really affect fishing around here. It's the pressure that's really sucks around here.
How often do you change your line?
I change my line at the end of the season. I run the same line from the start of the season to the end, and I'm out. I'm usually once or twice a week out person right during the ice season. But that's with mono or fluorocarbon. I do run mostly fluorocarbon. But on my heavier stuff, like my walleye rod, my walleye, my pike, my bass stuff, my lakier stuff, I will have braid. Braid, I'll leave on there for 6 to 8 years. It doesn't deteriorate or degrade over time. You really have, and so it'll last a long time. Which for the price you pay for braid, it should last. A couple more here before we go to the kids' questions. You always ask me that.
I just Auger blades. How often you go through them, you sharpen them, or?
Well, the nice thing about the K drill is that I get free lifetime sharpening for the blades. So usually I wait about every 2 years is what I do right now. So like these ones just got sharpened, this year, but it was 2 years ago when I had them last sharpened. And I pretty much just pay for the shipping, which is like $3 or $4. Within 2 weeks, that sends it back. So they're freshly oiled, they're freshly sharpened, they're good for stuff to get.
On days like today, when it was a hard bite, what was the microplastic that you switched to?
Well, today for that one, the best one that worked for me was one of the fishing assault plastic, one of the new ones. It kind of looks like a little skeleton. I don't have the bag in here, unfortunately. It's not one of the donations, but it is on the rod that I used. So if you're interested here. But this is that lucky lady that was one of my favorite jigs. And yeah, it's just got this little like skeleton kind of tail and just a little head on there. But this is what worked well today on the panfish. And it also caught me my biggest largemouth I ever caught 5 years ago in the white ones. One more, and we'll get to the one right here.
Plastics, you pretty much use it one day and then done, or you put it back?
I am about a 99% user of plastics these days. The only time I really use meat is at Sheridan, because no matter how many times I try plastics there, they always seem to want vaccine or maggots. And then pretty much everywhere else, I'm mostly a plastics user. I do occasionally throw on wax seeds or maggots onto the Pinhead Pro, and I have tried them on the new Tika Flash as well. But with Tika Flash, I've found that, like they've said, you can catch fish without baiting it. And yes, I've caught, so far in 3 trips out, I've caught trout and I've caught the bluegills on it without bait.
You reuse them, that's what I mean.
Oh yeah, if they're not trashed after a trip, I'll just take them up and up the bag. All right, we'll have more time for questions here later. But so in the kids bag here, and we're gonna draw 3 names for 3 kids who are gonna come up here and join me for the rest of some of the Q&A here coming forward. And I promise it'll be worth your time. So don't be nervous. You can ask them any questions you want. That's why I said with the experience. So let's see. All right. Sean Hare. Come on up. Caladeers. And Sienna Ramirez.
Oh, she's gonna pass, but she's already helped here. Yeah,
All right,
she's already helped.
she's helped.
Yeah.
All right. We do this one. Camden. Is that you? All right. Step out to the front here, kids. I'll come over with you. All right, so as part, this is still a Q&A. So you can ask questions to me, to one of the kids, or to all of us. Let's see, we'll see who knows what here. So, more questions, please.
How do you check your eyes?
How do you go on it? It's, use a stick and poke it with. Poke the ice with the stick.
Stick, okay. Use one of these. I didn't bring it up here, unfortunately, to talk about it, but here's your spud bar, which we typically use for checking ice this time of year. Nice heavy duty rod with a nice point. This is what I'll use for checking ice. For this, if you throw it in front end, you hit the ice really hard, it tells you it doesn't go through, it tells you it's at least 2 to 3 inches thick. The poker can get through in 2 shots, it's usually about 4 to 5 inches. Any more than that, it just depends on how much more you want to hit the ice. Any place on Lake you want to go? myself. Or what lake should I go fishing? That's a good one too. What about here? What lake that you don't like to go fishing on? Deerfield, really? Okay. I figure most kids love to go to that because get on the schools of perch and it's not even hard. Okay, so you'd like to go on Deerfield. Deer. Right? Another question over here. Right there.
How do you store the flashes at the end of the year?
How do I store my flash at the end of the year? Well, I like to pretty much just take it. I have a little shelf in the basement where I put them, but it's dry. You know, it's dry. The air is dry. It's actually cool down there all year. And then about they say about once a month, but I'm realistically every other month. I will just throw them on the charger quick, just keep the batteries fully charged. We're supposed to do that, especially with these lithium batteries. It just helps keep them fully charged, and they'll last a lot longer than say the regular heavier batteries will. That's a neat thing here.
I have a question for the young Campbell. How big a fish can you pull out of a 6-inch ice hole, buddy? How big? Big as you? You big?
I don't know those Lakers up at Deerfield were funny. So.
Yeah?
Like a really big trout.
Yeah. What do you think? You got any tricks for not losing the fish when you're trying to get them out of the hole? You just dive in the hole so they can't go back down? Put one on each side so you wedge them in there? No? That's how I feel.
I love it.
All year that's out there, what are 2 items I should consider investing in to improve my time on the ice?
Well, 2 items. What 2 items do you think are the most important to have on the ice? Gloves. Okay.
Fishing pole.
Fishing pole. Fishing line. Okay. My 2 ones would be an auger and a flasher with a little bit. If you can't go through the ice, don't do you much good. And once you've used a flasher of any kind, you're going to want to sit there and just look at a hole with nothing there anymore. It's really hard. I've forgotten it on occasion, every once in a while, but I will turn around and go back to this. I've forgotten rods, I've forgotten tackle, I've forgotten boots. But I didn't go back to get those, because I always have spares for the most part. But forget one of these and I will turn around.
Hey, the most important item you should ever have is this. Do not go on the ice without it. Even the most experienced fishermen have gone in the water. Now.
We're in beginning season.
Now, that is the most important item you should ever have, and that is for your own safety.
It is your cheapest form of life insurance, yes, from the ice, especially on this really stuff. Get in there, and it might be, if you ever did fall through, you just grab it, just pull yourself out. Now, when I fell through, I had them on, but my instincts kind of told me to get out right away, so I didn't even bother grabbing them. Same thing with the second time. But I also was aware of how to get out without having to use them because of all the videos I've been watching over the last 10 years of how to get yourself out of an emergency situation. Another question. What is that? Yeah, right there.
Difference between the rubber band and the
Oh, okay, yeah, the bands, okay. So, yeah, I mean, I run a lot of, just for the most part, I don't use a lot of reel seats anymore, because most of the rod layers are a little bit higher end, and you can feel a little bit more of the sensitive bite without having a reel seat, where you have a more of a direct connection. But these are the cold snap bands that I use. Pretty much using them since I started using these kind of rods. But people use electrical tape. I've seen more bands used. And electrical tape, we use it that way. It's cheaper, it's easy to use, but it does leave residue on your reels, or on your rods, I mean. Whereas these, will keep it on there and they come off nice and easy with this little clipper. And they do leave a little mark in there, but once left off a little bit, the foam and the cork will just expand out anyway, and you'll be just like you within a few days. But these are very secure. I mean, they're basically castration rings is what they are. But they do secure a reel to these rods very, very well. And if you're on for bigger fish, like I do occasionally run, I probably haven't done what this new one yet, but sometimes I'll put on a third the backside here, because I usually on a pistol gripper, you find a big fish, sometimes you only have two, and that back end just kind of want to come off a little bit, you got a really good fight going, but put it around the back. You do that, well, just actually, I use the tool sometimes, but a lot of times I have a, I think it's like a castration retained stretcher. I think I bought it from the tool stores. You put the band on there, and just squeeze it, and it'll expand it, just put it over this. I think it's a little bit faster than little trick. Questions for the kid, any requests for the kids? Alright, well, so kids, for getting your names drawn today, so I'm a staffer with PC Fun. They're an online only company, but they make reels, and they've started getting into the rods. This year they came up with their first ice fishing rods. They're called the Ice X Focus. So you kids will be getting the new one complete with an Ice X5 PC Fun reel as well. 32-inch light model. So the nice thing about it, so I've been using these the last couple trips out, and I just got this order in. So you got a very long spring bob around the end here. It's very sensitive, very loose. If you have anything on there bigger than a 3 mil jig, this is what's going to look like. Put a 3 mil on there, a little bit smaller, it will go down a little bit, but notice those bites. I really have, this is really going to be my rod for Sheridan come January, when I really need to downside and go after the little stinking perch. Because I'm able to see this bite very easy. Or sometimes I've switched where I just take the line out and run it through, like today I tried running just through here, using it just more as a light action for the Buddha. So you can use it for a really sensitive, really hard bite day, or if the fish are biting a little harder. Do not keep the line on here like this, otherwise you're gonna the spring bobber will lose its tension here eventually. So just to bring it out through here and just have it on there. Like I said, these are brand new this year. You kids will be the first ones in the area to use them. No problem. Thanks a lot for your questions. You're welcome. So, a little something cool there I want to do today. So. All right. Do we have anything left for some of our giveaways? We got some hats next, I guess. Everything else gone though? Yep. 2 more questions, and then we'll get to our drawing. Right there. In blue.
Did you say you were on Stockade today?
Yes.
Which side?
West side. West side, pretty much the entire west side. Was there with Coulter, Dakota, and Angel this morning, and I was there about 2, maybe about 3 hours, and we were pretty much along that whole shoreline in the middle there, and it was about 6 inches across the whole area. Did it get any thinner where you guys went later?
I'm sorry. Custer County.
Did it get lower? Did it get thinner anywhere else where you guys were at?
No, I'd stay safe.
You stayed on the west side? Okay. Yeah, at least that. And
Custer County
Johnny said it was
Search and
4
Rescue,
inches on the north side.
They just posted, they were out there for some kind of training, and they said stay the heck off of that lake.
Really? West side's okay. The ice was good quality. It was pretty clear, very slick because there was no snow on it.
They said they'd be walking around, you'd have 4 to 5 inches of ice, and all of a sudden you got 2.
Oh, sure.
The
Early season was like that.
real sketchy. I was out there last weekend. I took a step, and my buddy's 13 feet away from me. He took a step in the same direction, and we're, here, and we both felt the cold. So, but the west side even last weekend.
We'll look over here yet for anybody, but see any question over here, otherwise this lady gets the last one. Alright.
Is there a place that you would not recommend for a beginner to go? Like someone who's never went before?
Never went ice fishing now. Well, see, I would say Sheridan, definitely. Unless the bluegills are really biting, which happened last year in March, then anybody could have gone out there and had a good time on bluegills. Pactola can be tough. Let's see. Stockade has its days where it can be tough. Your best bet for if you're just getting into the sport, look at the out lakes. Center, for instance, is probably the best place to go. You're pretty much going to go up there and you can throw a little bit of everything. You're going to catch everything. It's a good place to get confidence in your baits. Just 50, 60, 100 fish catch days, not uncommon. up there at the center with those cutthroats and those rainbows. So it's a good place if you want to try plastic out. Go up there with it, see if you can catch fish on there. You'll be more apt to try stuff elsewhere. You know, like last year on Stockade was a little different in December. Aurora and I got on a really good crappie bite last year, and I hadn't been much of a pinhead user up until that point. But she wanted to use her new pinhead that she picked out herself in pink, and she caught the crap out of the crappies with that. So I became a believer after that. So now I used it a lot last year after that trip, and it's definitely my favorite panfish in the trout sport now. One more question without a prize before we go to the world here.
What would be like a recommended like brand of a pool for but lighter panfish and trout?
Well, if you're looking for a brand, I mean, realistically, any noodle tip, any spring bobber rod will do pretty good. I of course will be using. I'll recommend the clam stuff all day long. The katanas, or if you want to go to like the Gent spring bobber models, those are kind of a little bit less price, about $30-40. Those are a good panfish combo. Otherwise, yeah, any decent noodle or spring bobber typically. Hey man, I might get you in. I'll get you in here.
You said you fish like trout. Do you use toothpaste?
What, tubes? On occasion, yes. I'm typically using more like bigger quarter-ounce jigs, and then I'll throw on the Craigie XL is probably one of my favorite plastics to use.
Like specific colors?
Pink, white, and orange. And then I do use bigger spoons for them as well, like the clam blade spoons, the bigger flutter spoons. And those are just, I'll drop those down. Those are just big motions. You're trying to attract the fish with those, but yeah, otherwise that's what I use for a fully trout. All right, better get to our. Let's do the adults first. Kids really get the good stuff. So, first thing for the adults, we will draw for one of the new Clam Bravo combos. These are all noodle tips that I picked out because, like I said, I'm a big noodle tipper. And lots of good backbone. See the bite. And these are also some of the money from these rods goes to Folds of Honor, which is a vet group that raises money for scholarships for vets and first responders. It's kind of a cool organization that kind of partnered up with this year for these. The casting vets group that I help out every winter. I also got them to donate some rods for them as well. So each trip, someone's going to win one of these cool, military colored Bravo combos. This is a small little thank you for their service. So, Jared, you want to talk about casting vets all before we draw the name?
What's that?
You want to talk about casting vets all before we draw the name? Just a quick little.
Alright, so Casting Vets is a local veteran nonprofit organization out of Hot Springs. We use fishing as a way to help veterans with PTSD as well as substance usage. And we even have veterans come out that join us because they missed the camaraderie they had while in the military. And it's just a good way to get out, meet other veterans and stuff. Scott and Aaron, they can contest. I mean, it's a great time getting out there. Last year we had 70 veterans on the ice between our 3 trips. This year we're hoping to have at least 100 veterans out there this year between the 3 trips. Our first trip will be with Scott on Legion Lake on January 13th. Second trip will be on Pactola with, and Aaron will be out there, with Joey Cruz from One Fish TV. He's out of Wyoming. Scott will also be at the Pactola trip. Aaron will be at the Pactola trip. Doug DeBauer from Slaying Outdoors will also be there. And Kevin Vaughn from Wild Walleye Outfitters. And then March 9th, right?
Going to Sheridan,
Yep, we're going to Sheridan this year, to Sheridan in March. So we would love to have you guys come out. If you are a veteran, come see me. I got some flyers with the dates and stuff. So
it's a really good time. It's just all the fun chatter, just hanging out with everybody. It's been a really this is my 6th year being involved in helping them with their ice trips. And it's been a really good. It's been such an honor to help these guys out with these trips, and help them with talk a little smack, win the golden trophy for the big for the
yes
fish.
For the biggest fish. We actually have a championship belt that we hand out, and then you win like a miniature one that's more specialized. So the big belt goes on every trip and gets won. Unfortunately, the VFW guys just keep winning this damn belt. So somebody not with the VFW win this belt so we can shut them up, please. Also, a great thing with our organization, if you're a beginner, you don't even need a license, right? We get a special permit from Fish, Game, and Parks every year that allows us to take up to 20 unlicensed veterans out on the ice with us. So you don't need gear, you don't need a license, just come and we supply everything.
A lot of the stuff will be So our first Bravo goes to James Hope. We'll do a pack of some clam lures. We have some drop kicks, as well as some of the new Pinhead Pros. Joel Olson. You want those, Mom?
She's like,
That's the
no.
mom. That's the mom. All right, we'll draw again. Mr. Rory, you want to draw again?
Grandma Joe will get a nice thing. I mean, a non-fishing thing.
Jim Lassard. All right. We'll do one tackle bait for the adults here, one for the kids. Jim Auger. You have one of the new PC Fun IceX Focus rods. This is the medium one with a little bit of a soft tip. Not quite noodle, but it'd be a good rod for trout and a good perch biter and a good panfish bite as well. So I said these are brand new this year. Logan Vandermark. Other Bravo combos for kids. Taylor Haskell. We'll grab one of the Fleet Farm rods here that they donated to us. These are pretty. These are a nice loose little tip type rod. One nice pretty spool with some line. Archer Barcode. This one was spring bobber too for them, really good. And we got some 5 of those. We'll do another one here. Kyler England. Here you go, sir. Thank you very much. Let's see. We'll do one of the bait kits here. We'll do the trout one for the kids, I think. So nice connect from Mr. Nick.
Oh, okay. Okay, now this is, yeah, throw it in there. Okay. Okay, now pick one.
Like I said, these baits are not available anywhere here except over in Ohio. So, for maybe some very unique these fish haven't seen. These are some very unique plastics. Kayla Deers.
Cheating! Ah! You're looking at yours. Mommy will pick this one. Because you're a kid.
This one's yours. All right. Isla Deers. All right, another kid's rod. True Haskell. Let's see. we'll do one of the amp batteries. If you don't have all these lithium batteries, and you get a chance to compare the weights here. I can sit go in if you want to come here and grab one, I'm sure. These will last you approximately 2,000 charge cycles. So if you go out 20 times a year, that's basically 10 years versus replacing a battery every couple of years. So and this comes with the charger as well. And if you have a Vexlar, this is the connector for the Vex. If you don't have the Vex, it does come with a regular Auger as well. And if you already want, so here we go. Low. Your 18 will last you about 30 hours. Alright. Let's go with the last of the Nasty Nate's baits. These are his panfish. Special panfish. Really good here. I need to use myself. Kim Pates. The big lake effect combo. So there is a lot of plastics, a lot of jigs, and some of their walleye type, some of their walleye style. What are they called? What's that?
Eye catchers.
Eye catchers. Thank you. They're walleye. So as well as a case for all these. So there's a rod here, plus this penny popper rod. It's a very nice panfish and trout rod with a real seat. Here. So. Bob Rollis. Thank you. All right, now we'll switch to the kids here. Got a pinhead and drop kick. These are my favorite type 2 lures we play on line for a kid here.
Rubber bands in there.
Jesse James. And then the last rod here. Nolan. Here. Shields $50 gift card. Bailey James. Ice fishing sale going on now. So for sure, it's a good time to get down there and pick up some lures. If you get the catalog, check the mills section. You might recognize one of the kids in the park. All right. What's left? So we will do the kids come next. So here is the underwater camera. It's the same one that's up here. It's a reconditioned one, which means it was sent in with an issue, and they kept it, and they fixed it. It works perfectly, it worked just as well as this one. But on top of that, Amp threw in a 15 amp battery for this, because the battery on this one is heavy, and will probably last 5 or 6 hours. With this 15 amp battery, it's a lot lighter. It's going to last you close to 20 hours with this camera. And the charger as well as with it for this. So, very nice price for one of the kids here. Xander Bartol. All right, well, this is one more. This one, won't you? All right, thank you guys. Enjoy it. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that. All right, then for the last adult price here. we have a pair of relevant glasses. So all you can do is go to the website, just kind of follow the instructions here. If you have any problems, just call them. They're very responsive. Like I said, these are probably the best outdoor glasses you can own, just based on, I've been using their glasses for about 4 years now. You won't find a better pair of outdoor glasses. Is that Angel Arenas? Thank you very much. All right. And for our last prize here, for the kids, XLR FLX12 with, of course, amp donated a regular battery of a 7.5 amp for the kids. This is the battery came with it. I've already changed them out. So this is just the backup in case you might ever need it. And of course the charger and the charging cable. So this will only weigh about as much as Mr. Aurora does here. Very lightweight. I hope the kid who wins this will get lots of years out of it. Carson Stewart. All right, guys. Well, that is the seminar for this evening. If you have any questions, please come on up here. Otherwise, again, thank you very much for coming. If you have any questions, like you can contact me in any ways. I will help you with any way I can. If you want to know what's biting where and with what, let me know. I will tell you what I know. I don't have any secrets. I'm supposed to be looking for. I will tell you exactly where to go, what to use. Thank you everybody for attending again. We'll see you next. We'll see you on next.
I'm here.
Everybody grab one.
Somebody, Michael Cartwright?
Yes.
All right.